Добрый день, друзья.
Good afternoon, dear friends. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of the spectators of our today's discussion, the technologies of AI to resolve societal tasks. It has become a good tradition for us to hold this forum in November, dedicated to perhaps the most popular and the quickest developing and most recognized topic over the past 7 years. It has been at its peak over the past couple of years. The technology of artificial intelligence is what I'm talking about. It is my great pleasure that it has been for the past 3 years that our president, Mr. Vladimir Putin, has been supporting this forum, and in no small part to his personal attention, that we are having a huge upsurge in popularity of AI among our companies, among higher educational institutions. We have seen a doubling of universities training AI experts over the past 2 years. And most importantly, we are seeing an interest among school children towards the subject. This year, our conference has toppled all records that we can think about. We have seen 53,000 registered participants, and not only the number of participants has been growing, the qualitative composition has been improving as well. There's an increasing number of international experts involved in panel discussions. Perhaps the most relevant scientific topics have been broached. The philosophy, the ethics, the regulation of AI have been raised, and this year over 800 people presented over 2,300 solutions for the cases brought to the agenda. Those included the solutions. This year we have seen the solutions that can be called approaches to the solution of what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence, or the strong AI. Today, this broadcast is watched worldwide, and in this room we are having the participants directly affected by the topic of this discussion, and I'm talking about the representatives of the future generation of developers, our kids, the kids that have been enormously involved at this conference. For the first time, we decided to organize a big competition among school children, and we were staggered by the huge participation from school children from across the world. I would like to start this meeting with giving the floor to our president, whereafter we will open up the meeting with the kids, with our dear kids. Mr. Putin, I'm pleased to give you the floor, sir.
Your Excellency, Mr. Gref, dear friends, as German has just said, this room is having the school children and pupils, but, you know, there are lots of adults streaming us, professionals. But now I'd like to address children. If you find something boring or deem something boring, please forgive me, but I have to address all the viewers, all the participants of the meeting. I'll start with general things. AI-enabled solutions have indeed become part and parcel of our life. Today it's the point of gravity for talented, creative people ready to dream and achieve their goals. It's the front edge of scientific engineering thought. It's important that such breakthrough solutions that open up truly infinite opportunities be beneficial for the humanity, not detrimental. They should help save our planet, provide for its sustainable development. I count that all these issues we will discuss during the ZBERS International Conference that has already become, as Mr. Gref has mentioned, one of the main global platforms to talk AI. I'm so glad that today, attending our discussion, we have school students and university students from Russia and abroad. You are already building a new technological world with your own hands and minds, offering interesting solutions, and I definitely will gladly get to know your projects that you have submitted to this BER competition. But most importantly, I would like to turn to you, Mr. Gref, and congratulate you and your multi-thousand strong workforce with on this landmark date, on the 12th of November 1841, Savings Bank was set up in Russia. That started Sber's history. And throughout that 880 years, Sber has always been, and I'm sure it will keep being, a truly people's bank, a financial institution for systemic importance for the economy of our country. It is noteworthy to say that Sber has more than 100 million clients. Successfully accomplishing its key mission, you have been quite proactive and sincere and dedicated in promoting technological progress. You have been utilizing the cutting-edge solutions, trying to center the ecosystem of Sber around people. You are a role model for major changes happening worldwide, and we are witnessing a brand new paradigm of operation of businesses, enterprises, and entire sectors. And the objective now is not only about launching a new product to the market and building efficient, productive business models. What matters most now is to aim the work at needs and interests of the specific consumer. I repeat, it's not about a service or goods. It's an individual that takes center stage of all the economic process now. This transformation impacts not only economy but welfare and public administration, and definitely the key role here belongs to the big data and AI. Those who can more efficiently use the technological potential for the benefit of people will have the upper hand in the global competition today, and we must be among the leaders. I mean our country, the Russian Federation. Our companies, including Sber, have been applying and creating unique solutions in healthcare and education, environmental protection and agriculture, in industry and transport. We need to speed up the digital transformation pace. And from some pilot and experiment undertakings, we should move to the end-to-end projects of implementing AI in those spheres that determine the living standards of our people. In a nutshell, what we need to do is that the solutions of the future should be accessible now for the benefit of all the citizens, and they would help reach our national development goals, which is the mission of the state, of all the scientists, engineers, and innovative businesses. Dear friends, once again, we need to thoroughly analyze our development plans for the industry, social sphere, transport, telecom. They must be closely aligned with the sectoral and regional strategies of AI implementation. Without a doubt, with the implementation of all our national development agenda. It's no use having the technologies of future if, like, a city or a small settlement has low communication quality or low speed of the internet connection. Still, we have some instances, though they are not so numerous, or like the medical personnel, teachers and agriculturalists may not have the necessary equipment and skills to use that. And I believe it is quite important, and I highlight that before the government, we should promptly launch the program of training of sectoral workforce to teach them practical AI skills and competences. That must be done without delay. I reiterate that 1 year again, at our previous meetings, we agreed that would help business carry through a technological renewal program and would tax incentives to companies and organizations that would buy Russian software and hardware and telecom devices. Unfortunately, the decisions are yet to be approved, and as bureaucrats would put it, they are still under coordination, being worked through, as they say. So this is a blatant procrastination, and we'll talk that over with the colleagues separately. But I emphasize, at such a slow pace, we will not be able to resolve the goal of this speedy technological development. I repeat, the exponential development of technologies is what we witness today, with a huge speed, and we're witnessing that. It seemed fiction not long ago, but today Russian vehicle manufacturers facing huge competition have been making headway, and now we are creating driverless cars that can drive in low visibility in snowstorms or on snowy roads in real life. Though in Moscow we are only having the pilot project, and Yandex is planning to launch a driverless taxi service shortly. I saw it once. It's impressive, and definitely we should quickly dismantle all the excessive areas to design and implement state-of-the-art solutions, including in AI. We should come up with enabling legal environment that would match the rate of technological progress, but at the same time we should not be oblivious of another thing. Whom will we recover the damage from if, like, a driverless car would provoke a road accident, which already happened? And quite often, the authorities are at a loss, and the insurance of liability is another question: how to ensure responsibility and liability in case of action or inaction. And I'd like to ask the government, together with the professional community, to fix this and other legal aspects of implementing state-of-the-art technological solutions as part of the experimental legal frameworks, providing for guarantees to protect the IP protection for AI algorithm outputs. This is not a matter of future. It cries for a solution now. Let me now say a few words about the data access. Without data, and we know that quite well, promotion of digital technologies is hardly possible. I believe that in this sphere we should apply at least two fundamental principles. First, we need a efficient framework to depersonalize and store data, and clear and transparent rules of providing anonymized information. Unconditional protection of rights and interests of citizens, including their privacy, is needed. And second, in today's context, any attempt to monopolize data would limit free and fair competition and economic development. In this respect, I would ask to take legislative action as soon as possible that would provide access for Russian AI developers, as well as research institutions and business, to depersonalized public data sets, and actually, using the professional slang term, data sets have already been formed by executive bodies, and as a next step, I suggest that the government and the central bank should think about providing similar access to arrays of depersonalized data of domestic Russian companies, and definitely with a special focus on personal info security. It's fraught with complicated legal and ethical aspects. Why personal data should belong not to an individual but to commercial and financial structures that render services. It is a question, and now this is what the case is now. And if an individual has a full right to handle the data set, he or she might transfer these data to another company or bank so that they could provide a better, more beneficial product or a preferential loan rate. I underscore we should definitely have a well-balanced and careful approach to all of that, taking into account all the aspects of dealing with data sets, and any action should be taken with people's consent only. Special decisions must be made on information that is of critical importance for people's security. I'm referring primarily to the biometrics that are used more and more often to conduct financial transactions or like pay the Moscow metro fares. I believe that such personal, extremely personal info should be stored in the single state biometric identification system. So the state should assume the responsibility for storing that and provide a free access to that by banks and other entities, but in fully encrypted mode. That would rule out any external interference or open access to an individual's personal data. Dear friends, the issues of personal data protection and digital payments countering discrete manipulation of people's preferences and conduct come to the spotlight more and more often. So it's not only about providing for the cybersecurity of an individual, but also doing so for his or her digital twin avatar that will be placed inside the now shaping metaverses. And the developers promise that people will be able, with the help of the virtual worlds, to overcome distance, not leaving their home. And I know that some of the kids present here are involved in that, and definitely people will have an opportunity to stay next to those who live on other continents. And the term of meta-universe was offered 3 decades ago by a well-known science fiction writer. According to his design, people fled from the imperfection of the real world, but that probably would be too a pessimistic approach for all of us, and we shouldn't take this for granted. On the contrary, meta-universes should be utilized for people to communicate, work, study, and pursue joint creative and business projects, whatever the distance. It is a real challenge for technology companies, creative industries, for the developers of devices of virtual and blended reality, even for the lawyers that will have to determine the regulatory norms of economic and public relations in a brand new world. And by and large, the creation and application of AI for the sake of society, to save our planet and people, to study the world ocean and the distant space, for the distant space exploration, it is a major civilizational objective, and we should team up to resolve these. It's the only way forward. I'd like to seize the opportunity to use this platform to invite everybody to pursue an open and broad cooperation. And I'd like the government of the Russian Federation to provide opportunities for our compatriots and international engineers, developers, scientists, and tutors so that they can conveniently, including in a remote mode, participate in joint projects implemented in the Russian Federation in science and education, most importantly. Our universities will launch courses on cutting-edge technologies, and we will create competence centers on AI with leading universities and research institutions. Their work will be an important step forward to shape and establish a system of interdisciplinary and cross-cutting research at the junction of natural sciences and humanities that is needed to create the AGI, or strong or powerful artificial intelligence, that will be able to self-learn and develop and being capable of resolving complex problems, and definitely have ambitious plans to develop the digital education and provide space for students and school children. But, you know, it's people that create breakthrough solutions, and definitely we need the atmosphere, the human environment, to move forward. A proper atmosphere in families where parents pass down crucial moral values to their children. And at school also, it's at school that children should be able to learn the soft skills that their parents and grandparents received socializing with their peers. They should make friendships, help each other overcome failures, shape closely knit teams, and invent different undertakings or joint projects, as we say today. I hope that all these complex issues, technologically related and moral and ethical related to the AI design and implementation, will be the subject of our discussions today. And definitely I'm addressing now the audience. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vladimir Vladimirovich, for this inspiring talk. And may I pass over to the second part of this panel, which is the pitches, the presentations by the winners of the international competition that we staged together with the AI Alliance participants, the 5 companies. The alliance comprises Gazprom Neft, MTS, Yandex, and VK, and Russian Direct Investment Fund. These 5 companies established an AI alliance, and this year we decided to hold this big international contest among school children, because in some countries they train people in AI starting from kindergarten. And indeed, among the 21st century professions, the data scientist appears to be the most sought after, an AI expert. And I have to say that the first experience really exceeded all our expectations, because this contest was attended by 26,567 kids from 103 countries of the world. And the prize money, 13 million rubles, apparently became the right motivation, because we were really surprised. Those were far from children's level missions. Kids had to build a finished product, things that one can use. And a lot of teams, and they were teams, some of the teams were actually international, united kids from various countries, Kazakhstan, India, Uzbekistan. We even have a participant from the United States of America and other countries. And the winners, let me introduce, if I may, the winners who will introduce their projects themselves. And I would like to start with the first project, the education. And these children presented their project, AI for Education. They put together a personalized neuronet that allows users to customize content, educational content, based on a pupil's interests. The kids worked a lot on the project, and may I give the floor to the Benders from Kazakhstan. Guys, you have the floor. Any pupil will confirm that the favorite job is the homework. I'm particularly fond of doing math and physics. Well, of course not. Good afternoon, we are the Benders, and we would like to tell you about our solution, what AI can do in education. We had to develop an algorithm that could change the text of school tasks and do this to the preferences of any particular pupil. In actual fact, this is a very important job. Over the 11 years at school, I did all kinds of problems about cyclists and lorries. I can't remember a single one. They were probably not that interesting. Indeed, when you get a textbook with, old school diggers, it does not really strike a chord. Well, what about Marvel Universe heroes? So we decided to personalize the school material as much as we can. And also we thought that answers to these personalized jobs would be harder to find online, so you'll have to learn and find the solution yourself. So here's how a solution works on one of the tasks from 1,000 in our dataset. So we introduce the text. It is about sport. A cyclist overtakes another cyclist. Let us choose the target category. Now it's a job about animals. Why don't we put together a similar task on the spatial topic? And this is the way that a pupil can pass over to resolving the actual problem. How do we achieve our goal? Our algorithm requires very little data to train. So we took the data and labeled it. Then we chose a pair for every keyword that will replace it in the target version of the problem. The model analyzes the text. Importantly, the verbs must find themselves as verbs in the target version. Nouns will be nouns, and so on. This uses the most popular approach, masked language model, for the result to be precise and for the words to be changed right. We did a few additional experiments, and we paid particular attention to the quality of code and the entire architecture of the solution. Our approach can improve the quality by 10 to 15% just through personalization. Our solution can be scaled easily, and we are happy to continue work and use the project as a pilot project at schools. We are quite sure that this pilot project can make our education more interesting. And thank you very much for the opportunity to resolve these cool and societally useful problems. Thank you very much, guys. May I? Go ahead.
You know, the prerequisite for having success during the education process is motivation. If you have interest for a subject, at any age, actually, one may be almost certain that the result will be successful. And I believe that this is the aim of your solution, to increase the motivation and interest with pupils. I really hope, and we will do our best, so that our educational establishments would start applying your method that you have just pitched and presented in a bright and fascinating way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, all the teachers named the largest challenge in resolving the motivation problem. If the kids have the motivation, no challenge is too big. But if there's no motivation, creating it is an uphill task for the teachers. And indeed, we looked at the data, the learning data at the educational platform, and the data for boys and girls in math. And obviously, girls are about 15% worse performers than the boys. After this transformation was done, it appeared that all the math problems were apparently written by boys, because they're all about, cars and other stuff interesting for men. After those problems were transformed to tailor for girls' interests, the girls started to perform 3% better than the boys. And this was a terribly interesting find. And the guys must have really groped for this intuitive solution that the problem of motivation is indeed the key. And it's just surprising how sensitive they proved to be to this problem, and how able they were to find this effective solution using the cutting-edge AI tools. Guys, thank you very much indeed. Mr. Putin, may I introduce the next solution? The next topic is very important indeed. This is artificial intelligence addressing societal issues. And this solution was suggested by the participants to strike the barrier between the people that cannot communicate freely. As a rule, these are hard of hearing people. And the guys put together a very interesting tool, and I would like to introduce a composite team, a Russian-Kazakhstan team. It's called Garage to Sell. Guys, you have the floor. Do the pitch. Just imagine that you're walking down the street and a guy approaches you and he's asking you for help using the sign language that you will probably not understand, because only the people who are needing the sign language can speak it. Hi, we are the Garage to Sell, and we are about the inclusive environment. It is about helping the people hard of physical or mental development. We are using machine learning that will convert the sign language into text. According to WHO projections, by 2050, every fourth person on the earth will be having problems with hearing. Already today, according to the Russian Deaf Society, about 13 million of Russian citizens have problems with hearing. At the end of October, I was in Yekaterinburg at this competition, and I saw guys who were discussing my solution using sign language, actively discussing. It was interesting for me to understand this, and I couldn't. Our project is another step towards forming an accessible environment for all. Creating an inclusive translator, recognizing the gesture language and converting it to text, will help people with disabilities to comfortably communicate, and other people will understand them. This is the reason why we decided to take part in this track on the competition. We broke the problem down into 5 steps: pre-training, training dataset, training the neural net, assessing the result, and creating the application. The preparation included us studying the Russian gesture language. Also, we found a pre-trained neural net that can resolve similar problems. At the second stage, we used the existing dataset and we trained it, and we prepared it to train the neural net. In our situation, these are brief videos where a person is showing letters or phrases or words in sign language, and we trained the neural net. And this meant the finding of parameters that would link the gestures with text. And here you can it's important not to overtrain. Just as in life, you can learn by rote, but you cannot understand. You may not understand. So you need to be aware. This is the reason why we applied augmentation that changes the video slightly and feeds a completely new file to the neural net. The more, the better. And we used all the data to achieve predictions. Once we trained the neural net, we did the assessment. This is called the finals. And at the end, we actually developed the application. The application is a bridge between the neural net and the user. You can upload a file with the gestures, or you can just give it a live feed. Our algorithm will recognize everything it sees, and let us just demonstrate this to you. The user uploads the video or switches on the live feed. The neural net processes the video sequence. And the application gives you the text translation of the sign language. This is only a prototype, a demo version, but we're quite convinced that with a little bit more work and with much more source data, we can help millions of Russian citizens to break the barrier in communications, and it might serve a tool to achieve a more important societal task: building an inclusive environment for all. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, I want to say that it is a noble undertaking, an interesting one. It is of importance for a huge number of people that will be grateful to you. And our mission, and the mission of such organizations as Sberbank, is to do their utmost to deploy your solutions. And the kids are smiling because, they may commercialize that probably, but, people that come to be serviced at Sberbank, if we introduce this system, that definitely will dismantle barriers for both those who provide the service and for those who have the impairments. Thank you so much, but I have a question. How was your international team set up between Russia and Kazakhstan?
Well, I just stumbled upon this competition in Instagram, just by accident. I bookmarked it, I got a contact stand, and I registered, and I just had to look for a team. Again, on Telegram, I found a group where DS people rub shoulders. I just posted a message that I'm looking for a team, and off we went. I found Dima in this organizer group in the general chat, channel.
Congrats. Thank you.
The next team, Vladimir Vladimirovich, was selected among participants in a special nomination called Data Lady. The common thinking is that IT, coding, and AI are the sole preserve of men. And yet, this year, we had a significant number of participants that are girls, ladies. And we established, the partners and our bank, we established a special nomination, Data Lady, and we chose the best solution focused on fighting criminal use of AI, the so-called deep fakes, when AI simulates a visual sequence or a still picture or a voice sequence, so a statement is made that was never made, or things are done that were never done on video. This is often used by fraudsters to sling mud, to steal funds, and this is especially relevant for high-profile individuals, for famous people. And the ladies that I'm going to introduce found a very original solution in a very short time frame, working with deepfakes. How do you tell an unreal video or unreal voice recording from a genuine one? How can you tell a fake from a genuine article? The team is called IT Queens from Uzbekistan. Very warm welcome. Hi, we're the IT Queens. We are 5 girls and we are from Tashkent. We all met in the educational center to train for universities. And we are very thankful for the opportunity to present our solution in recognizing deepfakes. And now, let us tell you a little bit about what the job was. Deepfake is a synthetic image created by AI based on real videos or real photos. The technology is developing very swiftly, and now it's not just a breakthrough, it's a genuine threat, because you can pull off a fraud, you can pull off a blackmail, you can kill someone's reputation, or actually gain access to secret information. We all encounter image recognition, face recognition in real life. So it's very important to train a neural net to tell a fake from a genuine article. So we had the data set of real people, and we had a set of AI-generated fakes. And those data set actually created the answers. We knew what the images, what fake images were there, and what genuine images were there. The neural net was trained to tell the indications of fake. The dataset was not that big, and to give a quality training to the neural net, we decided to use augmentation. This means that we took the images from the dataset and changed them a bit. We changed the colors, the background, the lighting, so we get more material for the training. It was important for the neural net not just to learn what it saw, it was important for it to learn how to tell a fake from a genuine article. After that, we gave the neural net 12,000 pictures, and the neural net had to tell a genuine article from a fake. Because the training was well thought through, we were really struck by the result. The neural net gave us 99% accuracy. 99% cases were actual identifications of fakes. We were incredibly glad because this was just our first experience with AI. The first experience, but certainly not the last. We found it very interesting to work with this problem. On the one hand, this is an actual problem. On the other hand, only the neural nets will be improved that are used in gaming or in cinemas, which is just as interesting. Thank you.
You know, this final speaker, the girl, has said the main thing. These solutions can be used for the benefit of all people. They can be used efficiently, creating sleek and beautiful and quite relevant products that would enjoy demand. But the main thing is that with the help of the state-of-the-art solutions and the AI, you can find means and ways to protect the interests of people when their rights are infringed by the use of modern technologies. So if we think positive, one always can find a way out, a proper solution, despite all the threats related to the technological progress. That always has been the case, and it happens today, thanks to such wonderful girls as you. Thank you very much, and every success.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, girls. Mr. Putin, our last track for today, and this was the track entitled Creative Industries. Just recently it was thought that neural network and AI cannot create art, can create nothing in art, and after many years we can listen to AI-generated music. We can watch the AI-generated cartoons and enjoy other artwork. Today, machines and AI-powered robots paint and do other things, and the participants will present you a solution that can create real artwork, full-fledged artwork, and I would love to present Dream Team. That is a team whose solution was the best in this track. Three years ago, that was impossible, but now it is. We're going to show you the first cartoon that was created by a neural network. Hello, we are Dream Team. We are the leaders of one of the 5 teams that were the finalists in the Creative Industries stream. We all together decided to develop the algorithm that would have the full artwork with the video, audio, and text. So we wanted to check whether a neural network will be able to create a cartoon. And actually, we trained 4 totally different neural networks that created a neural fairy tale with a unique text and a unique audio and video. They use 4 different types of data, and this is the first large-scale use of AI in creative industry. Our first task was to understand what would be the story. We put a lot of scenarios in our model so that it can train, so that it can understand the peculiarities in the text and deliver the story. The generation of the text was done with a GPT-3 model that showed fantastic results. The cohesive text, that way you can actually see the storyline. Well, we worked with the text. We faced some challenges. First of all, we need to make sure that the voice sounds like a human voice, although, I mean, that depends on the style of a fairy tale, but whatever. And on the other hand, you have to explain to the model that the intonations and all the other things are very important as well. That means that before the generation, you need to process the text very well. And then we use Celera model.
Difficult part, since there are quite a few models that can generate suitable content. We use the music composer model, which works similarly to the RUGPT-3 model and generates music in different genres.
And finally, the video. That was a challenge because the video has to be in line with the storyline. It should be creative. It should look seamless, and there should be the seamless move between the different parts of the storyline. And we wanted to make a panoramic effect, and we wanted to make it a kind video, you know, like a real fairy tale. That's why we used the generative and adversarial networks that can help generate images based on text. We used super resolution model that also works on GANs. We believe that AI has great potential in art. It does not deliver its own creative artwork, but the perspective, the human perspective of AI in artwork is really unusual. Yes, and please enjoy the result of our work. Once a small girl was taken to an aunt to a village. She was spending her time in the forest and in the fields. She was eating mushrooms and berries. There was a lot of them. The forest was somewhere where she felt safe. It was where she played. Adults in her family had to work a lot because there were many challenges on their way. But at some point, something has changed. When a fairy gave her a wand, and she could do and select whatever she wanted. A red dress, and just with a wave of a wand, she had a red dress. She was shocked, and she thought, what else do I want? A fantastic idea, a mountain of ice cream. The girl decided to give the ice cream to her beloved aunt.
We really enjoyed working on such a complex and non-trivial task. We are from different cities and even countries, so our team is a real dream. Working together and solving this task in the final is really inspiring.
Спасибо за внимание.
Thank you very much for your attention.
Mr. Graf has said that not long ago it was hard to fancy that some software, a machine, the AI, would be able to resolve such problems that you are doing. The musicians say that composing musics is related and similar to mathematical processes, but you know, putting all that together is fascinating, is inspiring. Just a couple of words on that. You know, I can hardly imagine that the AI would have a soul and be compassionate, but what you are doing may be a precursor with respect to what many of us today, including myself, doubt. But this is anyway very interesting and promising. Good luck to you.
Спасибо.
And thank you. Guys, thanks a lot. Actually, this week Spur published a big professional transformer neural network. It's called RuDALI. Obviously, it refers to Dali, famous painter. It can generate different paintings based on the text descriptions. We published it online, and we were quite shocked when it peaked. The number of users peaked. There were more than 10,000 requests per minute. All the journalists tried it out. They used the headings of the newspaper articles, and the most number of requests was from Russia, then followed by China and the US. So it turned out to be a very exciting thing to do for the media and creative industry professionals from across the globe. And it is especially great that these guys used the pre-trained transformers that were developed by our alliance, Sber, Yandex, and many other fantastic Russian companies. I would like to thank you all, guys. Apart from the prizes that you earned hard, we promised you something else. We will give you access to the supercomputer capacities. Christopher, our supercomputer, many of you requested that because the usual processors cannot process all the things that you do. We are going to ensure the mentorship from our company. Each one of you will have that mentorship sessions, and you'll be able to have a summer internship in our company. You'll be working side by side with other engineers, and would like to thank our leading universities that provided the winners of this contest the privileged accesses for the entry to their universities. So Russians as well as the internationals on these teams will be able to learn in the best Russian universities. So wish you all the luck, and do not stop here. Mr. Putin, if we may, maybe we'll go to the third part, the last part of our meeting today. And everyone really asked you to actually ask some questions, because there is a unique opportunity to talk directly with the president of Russia. We had a 2-day marathon, and the questions were upvoted. The most popular questions were upvoted, and I would like the winners to ask these questions. The first question is Dmitry from Ozersk. He worked on the inclusivity task. He's as part of the team Prodam Garage, I'll sell the garage, and he's
I'm afraid they will have very specialist questions. I'm not sure I will be able to respond to all of them, but I'll try.
Mr. Putin, Mr. Graf, hello. During the summer vacations, I really want to be part of competitions and contests and academic Olympiads. I would love to have a mentor who would share the experience with me. A great project of non-standard mentorship is the Klasная Встреча, the classroom meeting, where you can ask the questions. But this is a one-off event. But do you plan to develop the same projects as Klasная Встреча, or maybe there will be some other mentorship and national events?
Well, for school children of the national scale, yes. Well, mentorship, Mr. Graf has just said that you will receive such mentors from Sberbank, which is a wealthy organization, an advanced one, a high-tech organization. They will be able to find a tutor, a guide, a guardian to you. But with respect to the mentorship, by and large, this type of interaction between those who are trying to climb up to reach a summit with the help of those who have accomplished a lot has long been applied in this country. It's nothing new. and we had the mentorship movement back in the past. But in your sphere, that would require specific people, well-skilled, well-trained professionals. All the mentors must be professional, but in your case, they should have the super high qualifications to inspire you, keep you spellbound, and help you select problems and goals, which is one of the main things. And definitely we will try to expand the application thereof, not only in production and vocational education, but also at schools. Even more so that we are seeing active introduction of some of the elements related to the early professional guidance. So we will move along these lines. And with respect to you, Mr. Graf has already made the announcement. Such mentors definitely they will find them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. Next question. Maria, please. She is the participant and the winner of our AI contest. Maria was participating in various projects in Sirius Center, and this year, after such hardcore training, she decided to test her skills in the international contest, and this my congratulations to you. So please, your question. Mr. Graf, Mr. Putin, my name is Maria, and my friend Daria really wants to become the future president of our country, and I am interested in ML and AI technologies. Just recently, actually 2 weeks before me coming to Moscow, we actually were discussing how can you improve the work of our government. I think that the cutting-edge technologies might help us here, and that would make the life in our country better.
Конечно.
Yeah.
У меня к вам такой
Of course.
вопрос.
So the question is, what do you think about the following? Do you think that ML and AI technologies, how can they improve the work of the government bodies? Will they help ministers and mayors in their work?
Yes, of course. Just look, you and your friend, you have probably different areas of activity. She wants to become head of state. I hope that she would ascend there and would definitely fulfill herself before she becomes president. And you are doing the AI, and you will have friendship that will be maintained through your lifespan. And those solutions in state-of-the-art technologies and AI and data definitely are relevant and needed for the public machinery and public administration. And now the public services are going digital in this country, and we have some plans scheduled by years. And like around all the public services, 90-something% of them will be rendered remotely with the help of digital means, and big data can help decision makers in order to choose an optimal decision. It's about the proper goal setting and finding ways to reach that goal, and all of that must go hand in hand with the use of big data and the AI. So you are moving in the right direction. It's not only interesting but also quite useful. Without this, one cannot fancy an administration system in the future. And if a nation wants to remain competitive and become more competitive, in this case, one of the main objectives, and Mr. Graf has been handling that and tackling that, is to create an efficient management and governance system. Today, such a system would definitely require the use of AI as part and parcel of it. So I wish you all the best, and we will help you. We'll try to help you personally, because it's not accidental that you are participating in the competition and you are one of the winners. So we will use that broad, far and wide the country.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer. Mr. Burden, we have a school kid from the US, Akshan Samuela. He's from Virginia. He is a school kid in a school in Virginia, but he studies Russian in this school, and this school also hosts a Russian language club that helps school children to learn about Russian culture and language. And Akshan is part of this club. He is one of the winners of our tracks.
Здравствуйте, Mr. Putin.
Hello, Mr. Putin, Mr. Graf. My name is Akshan, and I am in the 12th year in the School of Science and Technology in Virginia State in the US.
In the context of robotics, automation may have a beneficial impact on the life expectancy, safety, and well-being of the general public, since automation consistently correlates with fewer fatal accidents. Automating repetitive blue-collar tasks may allow more people to invest more time in developing themselves intellectually and creatively. With this possible increase in the level of education emerges more inventors and scientists. How soon do you believe that we will be able to mass produce robots to perform manual labor tasks, such as those in construction and manufacturing? And what do you believe are the implications of being able to do so?
Well, first of all, I must say that the United States is one of the leaders in application of the high tech. It is obvious. And for sure, you will have an opportunity to apply your knowledge that I'm sure you will be obtaining. But, you know, when we speak about robotics, it's not only about, you know, replacing people on manufacturing and for heavy works or damaging works. Although it is very important and this must be done with detrimental for health manufacturing sites and other things. But, you know, robotics are used today for litter and garbage segregation and separation. And in the military sphere, there are mine clearance robots. They work right after some military developments in different parts of the world, and there are some other areas of application like the driverless or autonomous vehicles and drones and submarines and ships and so forth. And I think that the AI and robotics are interrelated closely. I would not differentiate between them because the state-of-the-art software keeps developing rapidly, and you know, robotics are now AI-enabled. And I think that the name robot, the term robot, was for the first time used by a Czech writer, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of time passed since then, and now robotics become an inalienable part of our lives. And if you opt for this area, well, this is quite gratifying, and many people will envy you. But you know, in order to be successful in this domain, you should obtain basic and fundamental knowledge, including in mathematics, engineering, And I hope that you will have a chance to work in the United States, and probably if there is an opportunity, we'll be glad to receive you here in this country. All the success to you.
Благодарю вас.
Thank you. Thank you, Vladimir Vladimirovich. Thank you, Akshan, for the question and for the participation in this international contest. And the next question, to ask the next question, I would like to give the floor to Yegor. He is a pupil of the 10th form of the University Gymnasium of the Moscow State Lomonosov University. And he is enthusiastic about industrial programming and AI, and in the free time he is professionally doing tennis. Yegor, you have the floor to ask away. Hello, Vladimir Vladimirovich, Germanovskevich. My parents are in retail, and recently they introduced an AI technology that tracks shopper movements around the shopping mall, and they use the data to place a shop here or there. And I personally witnessed that the shoppers found it more convenient and actually more pleasant to do the shopping. Where else can it be used? Agriculture, manufacturing. You know, you could develop those industries using AI. How soon do you think AI-based technologies are going to be introduced en masse across the board? Well,
I think that the implementation has already started in different sectors. You have enumerated part of the segments and sectors like transport. Well, this is anyway end-to-end solutions. They can be applied in all the spheres, in welfare, in healthcare, in education, and in trade, in retail, that is the profession of your parents, in manufacturing. Big data means analyzing and summarizing and making the best solutions available. So it is a matter of time that the capability of the AI will permeate all our life in all the spheres, that will be applied across the board. And we talked about that last time, and it is important that this country should have the lead. I mentioned that in my introductory remarks, because the country's performance and success, irrespective of its dimensions and natural resources, would depend in future on how quickly and timely and efficiently and broadly a nation will capitalize on the capability of the AI. It's going to be universal, no doubt. What matters is to safeguard the rights and interests of people. They should not be infringed or violated. What is of significance is that no decisions are imposed on people with the help of the AI by someone who may have this self-interest. And as regards retail, nothing should be imposed obtrusively on people that people are not interested in, which actually is possible with the help of the AI-enabled solutions. So, you know, safeguarding people's rights must be in the focus of everybody who operates in that domain. Like several weeks ago, by the by, we enacted and approved a code of ethics on AI, and our major companies, including Sberbank and others, and some universities that have been doing this domain actively. Well, back in this summer, they devised this code, and not long ago they approved that. And the main overarching goal of that code is to provide for the self-restraint of those who do this domain, to guarantee the rights of people in this very important domain, they will permeate all our lives, I repeat. Thank you.
Владимир, спасибо большое.
Vladimirovich, thank you very much indeed. It is true. The companies that pursue developments in AI are the ones to understand that this is a double-edged sword. We actually arrived at the understanding ourselves. Ethics in AI applications is today probably one of the pivotal questions that all developers face. And these issues really define the policies in the world and in the country. This is not a conventional technology. It had not been encountered by mankind over its previous history, and you need to very carefully limit its development, because you don't want to trail behind in its development, and yet the ethics are obviously there to observe. Thank you very much for paying attention to it. We have really, over the past year or so, we have really started to pay more attention to this aspect. Vladimir Vladimirovich, and perhaps the final question, I would like to give the floor to Said Azizov, another participant of ours, one of the winning teams, the Garage to Sail. They were the first pitchers. Said comes from a small town from Dagestan, the town of Kaspiysk. He studies in the 11th form, comprehensive school, number 2 of Kaspiysk. And obviously there are good teachers in Kaspiysk if they have produced one of such wonderful guys that are one of the winners. Good afternoon. In our small city, there are no such organizations like in Sevastopol, Kvantorium, or Technoleaders. We do not have competitions in IT or in robotics, which is a shame. I know that under your decree, a great educational center was established in Sochi, and there goes the question. Are there any plans to create similar educational centers in smaller towns, or perhaps there would be a single online resource where everyone willing to train might find out the fundamentals of AI?
With respect to Kvantorium, the chain of these structures will be developing, and we will act in this vein. But, unfortunately, first we have to resolve a trivial objective. All our schools, all our settlements, including small ones, should have the broadband internet access with high speed. Otherwise, it would not be possible to resolve your problems, and the government will do that. We have a plan for that. You know that quite short. It's in the pipeline that will provide all our schools with a broadband internet. Like we have a specific schedule year by year, and that is to be concluded in the forthcoming 2 to 3 years. And the main chunk of those will be covered in 2021, and we are to provide for the proper context, enabling environment for such kids, school children, and probably younger ones and older ones to do AI, high-tech, and what their favorite cause might be. Because, at the outset we said that, primary school children show inspiring, stunning results, and Kaspiysk is a wonderful city. We'll talk separately about that, because Dagestan deserves that. We should not procrastinate and postpone that, and resolve this in near future and fix that. Thank you.
Thank you. Vladimir Vladimirovich, dear guys, the time does run, We have spent over an hour and 15 minutes with the President of the nation, which is a luxury for his schedule. Mr. Putin, thank you very much indeed for your abiding focus, big focus to the development of the technologies in our country. And certainly the development of technologies does depend in a huge amount on how deeply we involve the young guys in it. And all of us, the big companies, the members of the AI Development Alliance, will do our utmost to accomplish our social mission and follow up on your abiding request to place the human at the center, at the heart of technological development. As you have said today, we used to offer the market, apply the market with goods and services that we could do, and today we can use AI technologies to place the humans at the heart of everything we do and make it quick, make it convenient, and make it cheap with rendering the services to this person that he will not have been dreaming of yesterday. And we are at a juncture in the development of our economy where we can use the support of the government and your support to overcome any barrier out there in achieving the goal of turning Russia into one of the leaders in developing artificial intelligence and economic development in general. Thank you very much for your abiding focus. Thank you very much for your participation. Guys, thank you for your participation. I know that you went through a lot of training and you went through an enormous selection procedure. Greetings, congratulations on this final day of the conference and on your victory.
Let's applaud, let's applaud. I would allow myself to rephrase what Mr. Gref has said. Guys, it is a privilege and a pleasure for me to spend this hour something with you. It has been interesting and very pleasing for me to get acquainted with your solutions, your ways of thoughts, and your achievements and your aspirations. It has been quite gratifying for me. Thank you very much. I'm grateful to you for this evening, as it gives me, sincerely gives me an opportunity to adjust some of the approaches to the development of education. I'm thankful to you for that, and I wish you every success sincerely. Thank you. Goodbye.